Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also get me on my Facebook page, True Divine 44, and it is the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, greatly appreciated, and much love to everybody who is doing that thus far. I put out as much free content as I can to help support, guide, and inspire those who want to be supported, guided, and inspired. Take what is general, because take what is general, take what resonates because it is general, leave what does not. Leave a comment as to how it resonates, if it does, or how you feel it resonates in somebody else's life that you know of. It helps you harness the day for all that it's worth, helps you recognize the energy within you, around you, and within others. So this is for the 29th of October 2020. We're nearing that second full moon, aren't we? Which I think is going to bring up a lot of release for people. I know a lot of people are putting up posts to beware, and I think that's just the energies that are around right now, making anything that is a bit unusual or a bit odd seem very ominous. But I think we can harness most things like this, particularly the moon's energy, for our good if we harness the energy as it is able to be harnessed rather than going against it. And we are in the harvest, so bringing in what we want in, and letting go what we know we need to let go of, even if we don't want to particularly. So on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Queen of Cups again. So speaking to intuition, speaking to moon energy, the divine feminine energy here, creating space to be intuitive. Intuition's coming in all of the time. That gut feeling is coming in all of the time if we choose to be listening to it. But really, in practicing, in flexing that intuitive muscle, and that's those psychic abilities, however they might come in for you the most powerfully, taking time out to really practice with them, to have some quiet time with them, to really be learning how to harness them, particularly if you've been ignoring them for a lot of years or all of your life, or not giving that part of you the credit that it deserves. So really taking time out with this Queen of Cups that keeps coming up for different reasons on the various different days. And I think that's one of the main messages that's come through mostly with it, is to really start implementing this intuitive psychic ability that you have, and find out where your greatest strength is within the spectrum of those things, how messages come through from you the easiest. On the bottom of the other deck, we have the Ace of Coins again. Ace of Coins, not a bad thing at all. New start, new beginning, new earths, on, again, whatever end of the spectrum. I think you can make this time the most beautiful time, if not from the most hard work, i.e. the toil of your inner grounds, and create new earth, new growth. Or we can have it as the hardest time, and worried about what new earths are going to be brought in on our behalf if we're not taking the lead role in our life, in our experience. But Ace of Coins, never a bad thing, but can definitely, like any of the cards, be harnessed for a much greater deal in your life, or a lesser deal. And so the first card being the Judgment card, and I'm smiling because, again, it is another regular in the last few weeks in particular. And so we want to be talking about the dark womb, in that, that if you were to look at a physical womb, the greatest pleasures can be created there, and the greatest pains can be created there. Metaphorically, if you're a man. And so, but the greatest creations nevertheless happen in that dark womb. It's the unmanifest possibilities of everything. And so within that, we enter into womb-like states sometimes in our darkest times when we're going through some of the harshest energies. And let's be real, 2020 hasn't been a picnic for most or anyone. These tombs here, these grave-like boxes, coffin-like boxes, sorry, they're depicted as the dark womb. And so within that is the most fertile ground. Underneath the soil, there's a darkness there, that the most sustainable, most beautiful things, the tiniest seeds can grow into the most enormous trees, down to what happens in that dark soil. Often to get soil prepared, it takes work. It takes some physical, back-breaking work to get it turned over, aired out, get the right nutrition into it. And so with this harsh energy of the whole of 2020, but in particular with this card over the last few weeks, you might feel like that you've been gaining such ground, you've been doing such great work, making such great strides, but at the same time start to feel a little bit, but really, is it not lifting a little bit? Is it not, am I doing something wrong here? I seem to be staying in this energy, that I would deem as a bit of a lower energy, lower frequency, or lower frequency things are happening to me. This is the part where, can be a bit painful, in that you are being called to your soul's path, but maybe there's some preparation here in this card here for you to still do, to set you apart from the person that you were before you went through these harsher times in these dark wombs, in these dark cells, to the person that you're going to be, ready to really hit your stride on the main reason that you came here thus far, to do something that you planned and wanted to do, agreed to experience. That it's going to make you a athlete compared to the person that you were. And so obviously that journey, that huge journey, that probably the biggest walk of life for many people thus far, in their experience, the real calling back to what you are driven and guided to do. There needs to be a lot of preparation in this. You want there to be a lot of preparation in this. You want yourself to be chiseled and polished, and cut like diamond. You want to be able to cut through the leaves ahead of you, the bush ahead of you, once you start out really in your stride on your path, if that makes sense. You want to be as chiseled and as primed as possible. So if you're starting to have these feelings of, really, is it not over yet? Take heed of that and take heart in that it is preparation ground, I feel, for a lot of people right now. Very important preparation ground. That this is where the fertility is. This is the spark that gives the seed the timing, the internal programming, that under the right conditions in that dark womb, it can violently erupt from the husk, from the shell, to create the first sprout, and to simultaneously dig down the first roots. And so you get enrooted and grounded in this energy of your dark womb, of your dark coffin-like box, is a death to an old self and the things that would hold you back from the journey that's going to follow on from this, and simultaneously a sprout, a root to your new journey, to your new direction, to your new choice to go forward, and not just not just experience the more pleasant, or what would be deemed the more pleasant, more airy fairy parts of life, but to really be able to say, I can dig down deep in the darkest soil. In my darkest moments, I can plant down roots. I'm really good at that. And I'm really good at using that grounding in the higher sides of the experience, the higher sides of life. Because I'm really good at keeping that grounding, and I'm getting better and better at, you see, a lot of people think, I've grown, I've done a huge breakthrough. And then they come to me and they get disappointed at the fact that they maybe are going through another low spot. And I try and explain it to them, if the soil level's here and your roots are here, and then your sprout is up here, you're constantly, life is constantly digging down here, going up here, digging down here, going up here. You don't just go up, 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 up. Otherwise you would get top heavy. Your roots wouldn't be able to hold you, to ground you. You would be blown over with the first wind. You don't just go down, 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 down. If you do, your top half will shrivel up and die. And so there has to be this wave-like motion of the up, the down, the up, the down, for growth and support of both states. Neither can exist without the other, and neither can thrive without the other. And so I hope that analogy makes sense as to why the judgment card is coming up so often, and the deeper message I was led to try and convey to you about it, because it's such a powerful card right now, and because it keeps coming up right now. I tend to look to see, what have I missed? What have I not described enough? What have I not given enough analogy of, for people to make the most out of the energy? And so we see that the trumpet is on this judgment card, this major arcana, and then to clarify it, below it we have the 5 of swords. And so this is what I've just described, the joyful, praiseful hands, the trumpet, the hum, the draw, and then the 5 of swords, the roots. Literally, you can see the swords digging down, but then there's a couple of swords coming back up here to feed this growth at the top. So lower frequency, higher frequency, lower frequency supporting higher frequency supporting lower frequency. It doesn't just stay the same. It's like this, but while it's going like this, it's up and down, and then to clarify, to the next card, sorry, we've got the King of Cups. So again, it keeps coming up, and it's important right now, so important, to stay emotionally balanced. Like I described, some of the clients that come to me, getting disappointed with themselves, asking what they've done wrong, because they really had an awakening like moment, a real high conscious time, and then something's happened, or energies have come into their life that have made them feel like, whoa, I'm back down again. And because there's been that high conscious breakthrough, it feels like a big drop down. It feels like a slam down, and it's not. It's those roots needing to dig down again. So to stay like the King of Cups in the upright, emotionally balanced over this, and not be triggered by that drop down, and not get triggered into self-blame, externalized blame, a depressive like state, a disappointed state, but to see it for what it is, to see that, okay, then that's fine. Now I can be strong enough, like the King of Cups, to stay balanced and know that this will pass, to actually learn how to intuit my way through this with authority, which means that every time you go down to root again, the more you incorporate this energy with it, the more easier it gets, the more quicker the transition, the quicker the roots can grow, because you're giving it good nutrients, you're giving it balanced substance, you're giving it balanced waters within. And so To clarify this card, we have the Nine of Swords. To use this emotional balance and the ability to channel your emotions with authority to stop your mind getting out of hand during this time, with the Nine of Swords, to stop yourself from getting into this imprisonment. It's also very important, I think, for the collective stage to not be getting triggered right now by the surface stuff, the headlines and things like that, in that for some reason there's arrests today, and to stay balanced even in that. I don't know why this is going to come out, but it's almost as if too many people are childlike and too celebratory or too eager to, you know, head to the streets regarding, I don't know, some kind of court case or arrest today, then it will put off imprisonment, or it will make the legalese not so easy to attain the way we actually would want to attain it, because we're not in full sight of the full picture. I'm not quite sure what that means yet, but it's said as it's said, so see what comes up. The Five of Cups is the next card, and again we've got the Five of Swords under the Judgment card, and now we have the Five of Cups on top of the last two cards. And so there's a lot to be in a lot of our lives. There's a lot to be mournful over. There's a lot to be in our lower frequency, again, this dark. But you can see that this card is actually full of sunset yellow. It's light. The only dark figure in this is the figure that is concentrating on these spilled chalices. And so to know that if you're feeling a lull today, or if you're feeling that disappointment that was previously described, what do I want to say? That's okay. That's okay. But recognize it for what it is. Don't allow yourself to go into victim mentality. Don't allow yourself to wallow, rather than honorably respect that is spilled over, that is disappearing out of your life, that is flowing away from you. Knowing that you're going through a period of rest. So if we were talking about the roots and the sprout above the ground again, then we would be saying that, you know, your sprout is going through a period of rest right now while you watch this water seep into the ground to nourish the roots. And so to be in this honorable moment of whatever you feel you need to be letting go of, whatever you feel you need to be releasing or allowing to flow out of your life, that within that enlightenment comes. Within that you are nurturing of that, and you can really look at and transmute the feelings that you're having and why you're having them. So that you're not just going through the process of whatever release this is, whatever upset this is, but you're actually using it for all it's worth, that you're actually gaining from it that whole time, because you're analyzing it, not over analyzing, you're being observant of it. And with that observation, you're able to really feed those roots. You're able to really practice and feed into being this King of Cups and the Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck in the upright. You're able to be compassionate with the Queen of Cups, but balanced with the King of Cups. You're able to be intuitive with the Queen of Cups, but you're able to be in authority of those emotions with the King of Cups, the balancing. And so you get in the most out of the transition and the process, rather than you just taking the process and being battered around like you're inside of a washing machine for a bit. Um, and then the Two of Cups is behind you. And that's where you would be ready to throw this cloak off and dance in the sunshine and grow upwards again. Again, reaching an even higher consciousness because you've rooted down for a little bit and you haven't fought that process. So to clarify, that is the Sun card. So, you know, it shows that once you've gone through that process that I've just described, the enlightenment comes, joy and bliss, and literally taking off this dark old cloak and dancing in the sunshine, because the sunshine's already there waiting for you. You won't have that waiting moment. You know that that is done, that is said, it will be so. So, you know, you don't feel quite so bad now about being in this moment, knowing that before you've even got your cloak off, you'll look up and you'll notice that the sun is shining on you. Enlightenment has already happened. There's joy and bliss in that already, even in the lower frequency part of self. It's not to be demonized. When it's done from good intent, it's not to be demonized. It is an integral, and not only integral, but foundational aspect of you. And it's foundational as to how far up you can reach for the sun, how close you get to enlightenment, how high conscious you actually become. So it's less to despise these energies than it is to observe them, be in them, feel them, experience them fully, and know when it's time to come back up again, to sprout up, to be able to reach the heights that your roots will allow you to go to. So I hope that helps. It seems like a really, although it might not feel like it for some people going through the energies, I hope with that description and that reading, it's helped you see it in a different light, from a different perspective, and has managed to shift your frequency even within this moment in time. Within the energies of today, that you can see it as a gift, that you can see it as a beautiful, creative process in that dark, fertile ground, and that you can harness it for all it's worth, and actually in the background of all of that, be excited for what the sun is going to come out and show you and bring into your life after this, or even during this, because the whole time you might not feel like it, but you're absorbing that enlightenment, you're absorbing that joy and that bliss. That's why I said it's already done. And so wholeness, balance, loving vibrations to all of you. If you would like a personal reading with me, any spiritual guidance, or any energy work sessions, you can hook up with me at truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or you can get to me on Facebook business page, keep going to say private page, Facebook business page, True Divine 44, and you can drop me a personal messenger and just tell me what service you want to hook up with, what time zone you're in, so I can work out times and give you a choice, and we can get that hooked up for you straight away. Love you all, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah. Why don't you stop in? You're going to stop?